Thank you, Concorla. Minister, on the 12th of November, the Taoiseach told this House that legal advice states a minister cannot read protective disclosures. Minister, that claim has a real alarm throughout the country, because if a minister cannot read protective disclosures, the minister cannot verify whether the minister is being misled. It's an extraordinary position for this government to have in a system that has repeatedly accused and attacked and retaliated against the whistleblowers. In a recent case shows that danger exactly. For decades, a cash-based duty exchange system has operated in the Irish prison services. Not secretly, but quite openly, Minister. The WRC ruling has confirmed it. RT Primetime Investigates has exposed it. A senior retired governor called it universal. And in 1996, it's on a record that shows in this House, meaning that we've known about it here for over 30 years. Yet when the matter reached this state legal apparatus of the Chief State Solicitor's Office, it told a statutory tribunal that the system did not exist, and it argued the point relentlessly that if it did exist, it would be fraudulent. So, Minister, we're left with only two possibilities. The state defended participated and believes in a fraudulent case, or the State Solicitor's Office misled a statutory body and perverted accountability. Both scenarios undermine a rule of law, and both raise the same question: who is the state legal system protecting? Is it protecting the people's interest, the public's interest, or is it saving the government and state from embarrassment? As to this, Minister, part of a wider pattern is the whistleblowers who raise the issue and others have been sidelined and dismissed. A legal advice presented to ministers appears to be contain disclosures rather than deal with the ongoing wrongdoings. The Public Accounts Committee already confirmed that the system is obstructed. On page 10 of January 2022 report, it states that the terms of reference for the protected disclosure investigation were drawn too narrowly, and that suspected criminal activity could not even be referred to An Garda Síochána. Minister, that's not a flaw in the system. To my mind, that's a design in the system, and it is reinforced in writing by the Taoiseach in August 2019, when he was leader of the opposition. A minister told him that a whistleblower's disclosure had been handled through legal advice, treated as a normal personnel matter, and was asked to stand down. And as I understand it, if he was here today, he could confirm it, he did stand down. Well, I have to tell you, Minister, that whistleblower lost his career 4 months later and has been fighting for justice ever since. So, Minister, I put to you direct questions to your government. Is the government satisfied that the legal advice given to the ministers on protected disclosures accurate, lawful and compliant with the Act of the EU directive? Do you stand over the government statement and the Taoiseach statement on the 12th of November? The Minister just... Thank you.
Look, thanks, Deputy. And look, we are committed as a government to protecting whistleblowers, and work is ongoing at both EU and national level to further strengthen those reports. I know you have a PMB, I think, tomorrow morning on this very matter as well, and we get an opportunity to debate it in the round. And we accept that the motion that's been put forward by independent deputies is well-intentioned, and that it seeks to increase protections for whistleblowers. But just as an initial review of it, it does appear to ignore many of the provisions which already exist in legislation to protect those individuals. It also contains a number of proposals which would have to be worked on in more detail, may have some unintended consequences too. So we've set some of those concerns out in the counter motion, alongside our ongoing commitment to further review the legislation at both EU and at national level. Look, the role that whistleblowers have is critically important, and they deserve protection of the state. I think your contention at the start that a minister should have the opportunity to read protected disclosures, I think, whilst I understand your intention, I think is flawed also. I think the political process needs to be separate from that. There's a clear process in relation to, well, it does, because every minister will get reports, a general report on protected disclosures, and that's important too. But there has to be an independent, verifiable process for whistleblowers as well, and to be able to have that the allegations or the matters that they have raised to be assessed in a very independent way that's separate from the line minister, I would put it as well, and where they can actually feel that it can be raised in safety and assessed with seriousness. So the Protected Disclosures Act of 2014 is our national whistleblowers protection law. A major amendment to that Act was made in 2022, was signed into law in July 22 and commenced operation on the 1st of January. So this is an area that we take seriously. I do look forward to the debate tomorrow morning in relation to your motion, where you can put forward other matters relating to it. But I think whistleblowers in general in this state have done the state a great service, have raised matters that would not have come to the fore, potentially, should we not have had the structures and the processes in place to allow that indeed to happen. And any whistleblower should not in any way, shape or form find that their own situation is affected in a negative way just simply because they have raised a protected disclosure that they actually feel is of great importance to the operation of their department or indeed their agency or to behaviour within an agency or a department.
Thank you. Deputy
Minister, legal ambiguity protects the powerful, clarity and accountability protects the Republic. And I'm going to put it to you again because you haven't answered those questions. Is the Government satisfied with the legal advice given to ministers to protected disclosures accurate, lawful and compliant with both the EU Act and the Act here in the Republic? Do you stand over the statements that were made by your Taoiseach on the 12th of November inside in this House on receiving the Protective Disclosure Act under Section 8 and that the Minister can't even read them? Will the Government commission an independent review of legal advice provided to ministers in cases involving corruption, in cases involving criminal conduct and the misuse of public funds? And will you confirm whether the conduct of the Chief State Solicitor's Office in presenting a position that has now been proven false will be thoroughly and fully investigated? Thank you.
Thank you. Minister, please.
Yeah, thanks. Are we satisfied with the legal advice that we received, which the Taoiseach read into the House? Of course we are. I think you have an opportunity tomorrow morning, Deputy, to raise specific points around your motion. And, you know, as I said to you in my initial answer, also that this whole area is something that remains under review, both at EU level and at national level. And we want to make sure that the process is fair, it's transparent as well, but that protection is given to whistleblowers, which in the main it is. And that's important. And the Department of Finance will be taking this debate tomorrow. And we look forward to your the arguments that you put forward in that regard. And we're always open to looking at matters whereby, if there are improvements required that are legal, that we will be open to looking at that, and we will. And we look forward to the debate tomorrow morning.
Thank you, Minister. And that